If you've been playing fighting games for a while, you might remember the days when leverless controllers were a bit of a taboo. It was outright considered cheating at times until regulations were put into place and the controllers were officially accepted as tournament viable. Not wanting to be at a disadvantage, some well-known pro players have been leaving their traditional fight sticks behind and jumping ship. Leverless controllers are usually homemade by crafty gamers or built and sold by small businesses. But recently, even the big players are bringing out their own offerings, like last year's Victrix Pro FS 12 and the controller we'll be talking about today. This is the Razer Kitsune. One of the most highly recommended leverless controllers is the Snapbox Micro, which is the embodiment of all the latest trends in this category. It's compact, it's lightweight, has a low profile and some cool gamer lights. Razer's offering follows this trend. It's a 12 by 8 inch rectangle, enough space for all the buttons and the palms. It has a low profile height of less than 1 inch and it's only 4 pounds heavy. I think this is a great middle ground between the Snapbox Micro's extreme minimalist specs and the older style chunky boys like the Hitbox and Victrix Pro FS 12. Because it's an officially licensed PlayStation product, the Razer Kitsune shouldn't have any problems with support throughout the PS5's lifespan. It also means that all of the buttons are correctly labelled and will function as expected in training mode. On the top right, there's a tournament lock so that pro players don't accidentally pause the game and forfeit a match. On the left is the touchpad and share button, and the jump button is aligned with the removable cable at the centre of the controller. The only thing I can think of that is missing is some sort of cable management or storage solution. That's understandably quite hard to achieve with a form factor like this, but it would have been great if Razer bundled a carrying case with it considering the price. As it stands now, if you like things neat and tidy or need to carry it around to tournaments, you're going to have to come up with your own solution. There is a unique locking mechanism for the nice braided USB-C cable, and you can use other USB-C cables, but obviously the locking mechanism won't work on those. To cycle through the chroma RGB options, set the tournament switch to a locked state, hold down the create button and press up to go through the modes. I will leave a link to the full instructions in the description so you can see the other available settings. Something that sets the Kitsune apart from all other leverless controllers in a big way is the use of its own optical switches underneath the buttons. Other fight sticks and leverless controllers use something very similar to what we see in mechanical keyboards. Buttons are connected to a switch, and when a button is pressed, the physical mechanism is activated and a signal is sent to the PCB which turns on the switch. An optical switch is different because it enables actuation with light. So when a button is pressed, it opens up a channel where a light beam instantly passes through the switch stem, and when it hits the other side, this sends the on-off signal to the PCB. According to Razer, optical switches do their job much faster, but the choice to go with these switches means that there's potentially less customization available for people who might want to explore a different sound and tactile experience when pressing buttons. And there's also the question of future-proofing. If Razer doesn't sell replacements for these, what are we going to do if one of the switches ever breaks down? Some people claim that Razer representatives have confirmed that you can use other low-profile switches by companies like Kale, and if that's true, I will try this in a future video, so please subscribe for any updates. Okay, so those are the stats, but how does it feel to use? I own a few fight sticks already, and this is the Razer Panthera, which is the best stick I currently own. You can see in my crutch cam view that the boy is a chonk. It's heavy, which stops it from moving around too much during vigorous stick rubbing, and it's deep to accommodate the guts and wiring of the mechanisms. I really enjoy using sticks, but I've realised that my posture and grip usually affects my inputs. If I'm a little too relaxed, the angle of my grip changes enough that when I think I'm pushing back, I'm actually still in diagonal, for example. And when it comes to fighting games, precision is the difference between winning and losing. With a leverless, that ambiguity is completely gone. No matter how I'm sitting or how the controller is resting on my lap, a button press is a button press. If I wanted to, I can even do a Jimi Hendrix with this controller. The aluminium plate feels really nice and soft. The coating over it makes it feel super smooth, and it does collect fingerprints quickly, but it's easy to wipe down after every session. If you're holding out for the Chun-Li and Cammy editions, the bad news is that those are just skins that are pre-applied to the standard black version. Razer are selling some decal skins now for $29.99 on their website, but I am hoping that they'll sell replaceable aluminium plates with prints on them since the plate is removable. And it goes without saying that learning a new controller will have a period of transitioning, so I'm going to spend some time learning the basics and playing some games. If you prefer to go straight to my impressions, use the timestamp below and I'll see you in the next chapter of the video.
2 days later.
Right, so I'm in a room now. This is my second session with the leverless. And my friends don't show any mercy. I probably should go to the training room to warm up a bit, but what else? I'm going to queue up and see what happens. That was silly, wasn't it? I don't even do that kind of strategy with a stick. No, EXDP! EXDP! There you go. Ah, you got the low forward off before me. I definitely got to work on my DPs with this leverless. Throw loop. Oh, very nice. Oh, I couldn't do anything about that one. That's it, Mr. Miyagi doesn't miss his combos. EXDP, come on. EXDP! What? I made the right guess, but I just couldn't pull it off. There you go. I can do it, just not when I want to. Oh boy. Right, I've got to stop trying to do things that I can't do. I have to stay grounded and play a very simple game. Oh no, EXDP is a bad choice. Hey, that was a struggle. No, timing that wrong. Oops. Oops. Ah, he's got me. Oh, EXDP. There you go, my simplest juggle super combo. At least I've got that. Heartless is also also has a Kitsune and he started a day before me. I really have to think about jumping. Like, it feels like an additional skill. How did I burn out already? It's crazy. Oh, see? That's why you shouldn't burn out. Lovely. That did wake me up. Fireball. That was silly. Oh! Very nice. Alright, got my CA. Can't be that bad. Might suspend it. Oh, f that shouldn't be happening. Oh, okay. Learned something new. Oops, didn't know which way to block. Hadouken! That's nice. What? What? No, come on. This. Oh, that was silly. I never do that. I can't even blame that on the leverless. That's just something that I shouldn't be doing. Oh no. No. What? Why did I do that? I deserved it. Where's your throw, Leslie? Oh. Oh. Jump, Les. Oh no. Hasn't thrown me in like 4 rounds. Okay, Les, okay. You've got to jump at some point. Oh! Oh! Alright, don't do anything silly. Oh, tense one.
Right, so I've been using the Kitsune for a few days and I have some thoughts about it. So let's start with the pros. Razer has nailed the form factor. This thing sits nicely on the lap or a table.
and the rubberized base stops it from moving around. It's so light and small that you can just get up when you need to without any hassle. Ooh, good games, bro, good games. Good games. That's enough for me, man. Should we go out and grab some food or something? Nah, I'm probably gonna play a few more and call it a day. I'll see you next week. Alright then, cool bruv. See you later, yeah? The buttons are not advertised as silent, but they're quieter than my silent Senwas on the Panthera. My friend used to mention the sound of my Panthera coming through voice chat, but says he can't hear the Kitsune at all. So you can do those late night sessions on this controller without waking up the whole family. And you might be tempted to have plenty of those nights because the buttons are pleasant to touch. The Kitsune looks really nice in my opinion. The aesthetic leans closer to desktop tech than console gaming peripheral, which I feel a lot of other leverless controllers fall into. Nothing wrong with that, but a sleeker aesthetic tends to encourage more usage from me. I was expecting the function buttons to be a bit mushy like the ones on my Panthera, but they're quite clicky and activate without much effort. I prefer the idea of this over other leverless controllers that have narrow tips for their function buttons, which look a little bit uncomfortable. One thing that is mushy is the touchpad, which is something I use quite often in training. It feels better when pressed near the middle or top of the pad, but I tend to hit the bottom of it, which doesn't give great feedback. This leads me on to some of the other cons. The cable lock is a really good idea, but it feels a bit flimsy, especially considering the price of the product, which is decent for a PS5 compatible leverless controller, but when compared to anything else you can buy for £299, I think it's reasonable to expect a flap that's less dubious. The buttonholes are quite big, so expect dust and dirt to get in there on the regular. I'm not sure what can be done about that other than opening it up a few months down the line for a good clean. RGB on this looks great, but it's not really visible during gameplay unless you have the controller sitting on a desk in front of you. I'm hesitant to put this down as a con because some people might like the fact that it's not distracting. For the asking price, they probably could have fit some RGB into those big buttonholes and let us decide if we want to turn them on. Street Fighter is the only fighting game I play right now, and it does feel satisfying when the sequences I'm trying to pull off are translated on screen. I'm using less energy overall whilst playing on the Kitsune, and I'm not getting drenched in sweat the way I did when using the Panthera, even though the buttons do feel like they require more force to push, and they have an aggressive springback too, which encourages me to slap the buttons a bit harder, and I think that's how you're supposed to use this controller. It seems they've built it to take abuse. If you compare it to other things you can do with 299 quid, it's not worth it at all. It's a lot of money that can go towards food and a week of utility bills in the UK these days. If you really sit back and think about it, it's more than half the cost of a PS5. But if you know for sure that a controller like this is for you and you're going to get a lot of time out of using it, then the story changes. This is about in the middle of the price range for a PS5 compatible leverless, and it's not far off from an Oki board, which is quite similar in terms of size, quality and features. And the Oki board is just under £300, but that controller isn't officially licensed like the Kitsune. And on top of the license and updates, you get, in my opinion, a much nicer looking controller, a better form factor and a premium build. The returns policy will also be more flexible from stores that will stock the Kitsune. So for UK buyers who have less options and need to pay a premium to import most of the leverless controllers out there, this is a very interesting proposition. It's a shame that Razer didn't include any bells and whistles like a carry case. If you're on a super low budget, you can just pick up the cheapest thing you can find on AliExpress and get a Brook Wingman adapter. The problem here is that if you do eventually want to upgrade, you'll end up paying more in the long run and find yourself with two controllers when you only need one. Will it make you a better player? No, because being a better player means learning your fundamentals, knowing your character, and labbing your matchups amongst other things. In fact, you'll play worse until you get used to the new control scheme. But it will make your play more honest and more accurate. If you haven't got a controller to blame, you can start looking at other areas of your game that you can improve upon. I knew I wanted to make the jump for the long term, and as a person who enjoys premium products and had limited options in the UK in terms of price, I feel like it ticked my boxes and was the best option for me. If you can relate to what I just said, I think you will enjoy owning the Razer Kitsune too. Hope you found today's video helpful. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe, and if you didn't enjoy it, then I hope one of my future videos will be more entertaining for you. Any questions or comments, leave them below, and I'll see you in the next one.